Hello friend, welcome to my new React video. Today's topic is React props. Props are objects that we pass into the function component or use in JSX as HTML attribute. We will learn about it in detail, what it is and how to use it. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe, press the bell icon and learn React with me. All JavaScript functions accept an argument, which in React is referred to as props or properties. The values can be passed into the component in the form of JavaScript expression, string literals, variables, and objects. When using React, data is transferred in a single flow from the parent component to the child component. Props in React are mostly used to pass custom data to your component. You can't update props in React. Props are immutable, which simply implies that we can't change them inside the component or we will get the error. When passing data to a component in JSX, we use syntax similar to HTML tag attribute, for example src or href, and the component function receives props as an object parameter. Let's pass prop as JSX attribute. Here named it title equal in single quote write welcome Elpeeda. Save it. Now inside the component we must send the props keyword as an argument to the function, and for rendering we use dot notation inside the curly braces. Let's delete this. In curly braces, props dot and the attribute name you pass to the JSX, so title. Now save it, and here it is still showing welcome Elpeeda to our browser. You can pass multiple props to your component as an object. Let's pass here text. So text in single quotes, enjoy your journey. Let's save it, and my component, let's pass it here p in curly braces props dot text. Now save it, and it also includes the text enjoy your journey. By defining the prop to the component, you may really make it reusable by changing the data for different components. Let's pass the various props to the list. So here let's pass the JSX attribute, named it course. So course equal in single quotes React, and copy this and paste here and here. Let's change it HTML, CSS, and here change it to JavaScript. Save it, and inside the list component, let's pass the props keyword as an argument, props, and for rendering, in curly braces, return it props dot the attribute name course. Now save it, and here it output different value for a different component. We can also pass variables and object to the component by enclosing them in curly braces, just as we can pass any valid JavaScript expressions to the component as props using the JSX attribute. Let's make a variable called name. So here const name and the value Elpeeda, and define the value here in curly braces, name, and save it, and here it output the Elpeeda because we pass the variable to our component. You may transfer data to other component in a variety of ways thanks to props. Always remember that data sent from the parent component which hold the value to the child component, and it can't be updated by the child component. A parent component in any component that renders additional components. My component is the parent component in this case, and each list component is a child component. This is also known as pure functions. If you are wondering why we don't define a variable or object on the same page, instead send it as prop. The reason is that we could need to use the same information across many components. For example, I might need to use the name variable in both app and my component. Like we need to use name variable here to pass it name in curly braces. If we save it, here it changed into the hello Elpeeda. So at the same time, we are using same variable in both component app as the JSX expression and inside my component as props. It won't be reusable and won't follow the try pattern if we are going to hard code this each time. Props are helpful because they enable dynamic functionality without requiring you to rewrite the logic for every other component. Let's create another variable in the my component with a list of arrays that we want to send to the list component. So let's declare constant variable name course and then put the square bracket. Inside the square brackets, let's assign the object inside the curly braces. The first key is going to name, and after colon and in quotes, let's assign the value sandmas. After comma, the second is going to language and the value is going to JavaScript. and after comma the third key is going to level, and the value is beginner. After comma, let's copy this and paste it here and here. Let's change its value. Now add the attribute to these component name in curly braces. Put the variable name course. Since it is an array element, we will retrieve the element by its number in square brackets. So index is 0. After dot, we may get the value by using the object name. Let us assign the second attribute language, and inside the curly braces put the variable name, and inside the square bracket index is 0 and the object name is language, and the third attribute level. The same method inside the curly braces, put the variable name, inside the square brackets index is 0 dot object name, it is level. Here you can name the attribute as you want. You don't have to assign the same attribute as object name. It is totally up to you. Now we are going to do the same thing with these two components. Let's delete this here and copy this here to here and paste it. We will change the index number. So now it is a 1, and also we will remove this and paste this and change this index number to 2. So here we are adding attribute to these components and dynamically retrieving stored value by assigning them in curly braces. The function component will retrieve data as an object parameter which holds all the value we get on the custom component. So we can now output value on the screen by accessing props. Let's remove it. And inside the parentheses, let's add the empty tag. In S3 tag, we will access the props in curly braces, props, and the attribute name, and inside the span we will access the language and level. So props dot language, and after colon let's access the level. So props dot level and close the curly braces. Now if I save it, we have successfully retrieved the value and output it on the screen. Make sure property match the attribute you provide onto the component here. Otherwise it won't function for you. As an alternative, you can also use curly braces to specify the object. Instead of using props keyword as arguments, you can use attribute name to give parameter to function component, but because it is an object, you must enclose it in curly braces. So here let's omit the props keyword, and inside the curly braces assign the attribute name, language, and level. And here we will remove the props and save it. And here it is still showing name, language and level. That's it for today's guys. That's in this video here. If you like this video, please thumbs up, comment and share. And save this playlist here because we are going to learn anything and everything.